हॅलो. 12:05 झाले. आता मी स्टार्ट करते. ओके. Okay. Before starting, we have okay. Our unit number 5 is nothing but the design of like ocean. We have deal with the shear. Now we are going to deal with the bond. Okay. Now we are going to deal with the bond here. Bond. What do you mean by bond? Bond is nothing but the bond in RCC is the adhesive force developed between concrete and reinforcing steel to transfer the axial force from a surrounded concrete. Okay. See here, what do you mean by the bond? Bond is whatever the adhesive force which is developed between the concrete and the reinforcing steel. Okay, whatever the adhesive force between the concrete and steel, so that they both can transfer the axial force from a reinforcing bar to the surrounded concrete. Okay, so that the force whatever it is coming on the reinforcing bar, it should be transferred to the concrete, and that concrete is going to transfer it to but the bond. Okay, now bond ensures the strain compatibility of the RCC. Bond concrete can be improved. How you can improve the bond between the steel and concrete? By using the rich mix, by having perfect compaction and curing, by additive cover to the steel. As you know, we are going to always in every member we are going to provide a cover to the, that is the clear cover or the effective cover to the steel. Use deformed bar or before there in the before the invention of the are the corrosion. Okay, due to that corrosion, there will be good bonding between the steel as well as the concrete. Therefore, we have used deformed bar. Okay, these how we can improve the quality of the bond between the steel and the concrete. Now, what is the bond stresses? There will be some stresses developed due to the bond between the steel and the concrete. Okay, what is it? The shear stress develop along the contact surface of this reinforced bar. If you apply some force on a body, it is going to shear. Okay, huh? Okay, that is nothing but the shear. Similarly, here whatever the shear stress is developed along the contact surface of the reinforced bar and the concrete, it is defined in the. Concrete, it is known as the bond stress. Okay, the main function to prevent slipping of the bar through the hardened concrete. Okay, main function of your bond stress is nothing but so prevent the slipping of the bar through the hardened concrete. Okay, there will be the, see here, if you are provided with the bar here and this is the concrete you have provided. Okay, whatever the concrete. Okay, see here. Okay, see here. If this is your any uh, member, and here is the bars. Okay, okay. Whatever the here is bond is nothing but the surface which is which is in contact with the steel as well as the concrete. It is nothing but the concrete. It is stresses. Okay. Here again we are going to see the next. Okay, the main function hardened concrete. Okay, now the value of the tau BD. Okay, see the value of the tau BD, that is now tau BD is nothing but your bond stress for bars in tension. There are two types of bond stresses. First is in tension and second is in compression. Okay. Page 43 and C. 43. Okay. Here are the values of the tau BD. Okay, here are the values of the tau BD. 26.2.1.1. Design bond stress and limit state method for plain bars in tension shell has been below. These are value for the plain bars in the tension. Okay, and I have told you for having good bonding between the concrete and the steel, you have to use the to improve the quality of the bond between the concrete and the steel, you have to use the deformed. See here, for the deformed bar conforming to IS 1786, this value shall be increased by 60%. This value shall be increased by the 60% for the deformed bar. Okay. For example, if your grade is 1.2 for M20, then if you are using plain bars, then it is okay. You can go with the tau BD is equal to 1.2. You have to increase it by the 60%. That is nothing but by 1.6%. You have to add 60% this in your 100%. That will give you, see here, this is what all 100%. Okay, and you have to increase 60% in it, means it is 1.6 of the tau PD. Okay, for the deform bar. Okay, for bars in compression, the values of bond stress bars in tension shall be increased by 25%. See here, this is for tension. This is for tension. Now for the bars in compression, how to increase the bond stress value? The values of the bond stress for bars in tension shall be increased by 25%. For compression, this value you have to increase by the 25%. Okay, that means again 1.25, you have to increase this value by 1.25. Okay, see the values of the bond stress in working stress design are given in B 2.1. Okay, for the annexure B2. Okay, now again we are going to move to the next. bar in the compression, the value of the tau BD is increased by 25%. Now, next topic is your development length. We have already in every in every member we have calculate the development length. What is mean by the development length? It is going to be any slippage between the concrete and the steel, it will not be get slip from the concrete. Therefore, you have to provide the minimum length to provide a perfect bond between the steel and the concrete. Okay, this is what the development length. Next, and it is denoted by LD. See in the figure, I have told you. See in the figure here. Here is the LD, the extra length to the bar is provided so that there will be a good bonding between the concrete, the hardened concrete and the steel. Okay. Here, tensile. How to? Now we are going to find a formula for the development length, which we always use for the different members. Here, there will be the tensile force T. Okay, tensile force in bar is nothing but pi by 4 into 5 square into Fs. Okay, there will be the bond force between the steel and the concrete. To nothing but 0.87 Fy. Okay, 0.87 Fy. Okay, if as they are in equal, therefore LD is nothing but the 0.87 Fy by 4 into tau BD. Okay, see here the formula 4 into tau BD. Okay, this is for the mild steel, that is for the plain steel. Okay, I have told you in the clause it is mentioned if you are using deform bar, you have to increase tau BD by the 60%. See, in the previous section also we have seen the value of the tau BD for bars in tension. We have seen for the clause number 26.2.1.1 there by page number 43. Okay, here for the deform bar you are going to use you are going to increase the tau BD by the 60%, means that is 1.6 into 4 tau BD. That is nothing but the real formula for your LD is 0.87 Fy into 5 divided by 6.4 tau BD. This is for the length of the, by this formula you're going to find the value of your development length for deform, that is Hy is the bar. Okay, next there is an example for the same. You can see here, for in the example, see here, calculate the development length for the 16 phi in compression and tension by both methods. Here, see, LD is directly you can use the formula. It is given for the length. Since 16 you are going to use as the deform bar, डायरेक्टली LD का फॉर्मूला डालिए, उसमें टाउ BD का वैल्यू आपको मिलेगा, कहाँ से मिलेगा, वन क्लॉज नंबर 26.2.1.1.1. ठीक है, LD एल डी कितना है आपका, एल डी आया आपका 566.40. ओके, दिस इज व्हाट द वैल्यू ऑफ द एल डी. दिस इज द ओनली वन type of example you can see here. Okay, now the next is there will be there will be the, you are going to bend the bar and there will be the hook. See here, this is your, see, this is your beam and this is your column. this should be connected by something. Okay, for this you are going to use anchorage. You are going to do the anchorage. Okay, you will be do the bending of your bar. Otherwise you will be using the hooks, so that anchorage between these two members can be perfectly done. Okay, here bars in the tension, if the bars are in the tension, okay, go to the clause number 26.2.2.1. okay, 26.2.2.1, page number 43 again. Okay, there you can see page number, here is the page number 43, 43. Okay, here you can see this is the clause number 26.2. Okay, uh, in this opening here, okay, ice code. See here, what according to clause number 26.2.2.1, bends conforming to standard are frequently resorted to in order to provide anchorage contributing to the requirement of LD of the bars in the tension or in the compression. Okay, see here, whatever the development length, that is nothing but the extra length you are going to provide, it is going to be now bent, or it's going to be hooked in the other member. Okay, here is nothing but first you can use as the bend for the anchorage. The anchorage value of a bend shall be taken as 4 times the diameter of the bar for each 45-degree bend, subject to the maximum of 16 times the diameter of the bar. Okay, see here, commonly a standard 90-degree bend is adopted for the anchorage value, and it is 8 5. Okay, it is 8 5. See, what it say, whatever the anchorage value of the bend, okay, whatever the anchorage value of the bend shall be taken as 4 times the diameter of the bar. Okay, for each 45-degree bend, means if you are using 16 mm fiber, if you are using 16 mm fiber, 4 times of that anchorage value is going to, you are going to take for every 45-degree, whatever number of angle you are bent for 45-degree, each for each 45-degree you are going to give the anchorage value as 4 into the phi value, whatever the diameter of the bar you are using. Okay, and subject to the maximum of 16 times the diameter of the bar. And you are going to subject it to maximum of 16 times the diameter of the bar. Okay, and now see here, commonly the standard bend you are going to bend to encourage it into the other member, means if the standard is 90-degree, in 90-degree you are going to bend the bar. Okay, and that anchorage value, whatever the anchorage value you are going to take, is the 8 time of the phi. Here, whatever the anchorage value you are going to take is 4 times. For which angle? For 45-degree. But if you are providing with the standard 90-degree bend, means see here, this is the extra length. Okay, LD, this is your LD, and you're going to bend this. Okay, if you are bending it in 90-degree, then you are going to take the anchorage value as 8 into 5. Okay, if same, if you're bending in 45-degree, then you are going to take it as 4 times 5. Okay, see, it is clear to you. And mainly the standard bend, you are going to bend the steel is in 90-degree. Okay, now hooks. Next is you can bend the bar, or otherwise you are going to hook in. When bend turned around 180 degree, anchorage value is 16.5. Here you are going to bend it in 90 degree. Okay, here you are going to bend it in 90 degree in bend. And in hooks you are going to bend it 90 degree like this. Okay, okay, and extended beyond by 4 by. Okay, what, see here, the anchorage value here for the hooks is 16 times of 5, that is double of the 8.5. Okay, and you have to extend it to the 4.5. Okay, like this. Okay, and this is called as, it is called a standard U type hook. In the case of stirrup reinforcement, you can go for the same clause number 26.2.2.4b. Okay, okay, here, and specifies that complete anchorage complete anchorage shall be clean to have provided if any of the following specification is satisfied. What are the specification? 90-degree bent around a bar of diameter not less than the stirrup diameter. See what it say, whatever the 90-degree bend around a bar of a diameter, not it should not be less than the stirrup diameter 5, with an extension of at least 8.5. Okay, 135-degree bent with an extension of at least 6.5. Okay, 180-degree bent up, at least you have to extend it to the 4.5. See here it is, I have done here, it is the diagram. Okay, this is standard 90-degree bent up. Okay, means what, these are your bars. Okay, these are your bars, and it should be bent up in the 90 degree. Okay, in the 90 in the 90 degree. Okay. Hmm? Hmm? This is your bar, and this is your the phi of your bar. Okay, okay, this is your, here is your R. Okay. Hmm? Now this is nothing but the anchorage, that should be equal to 8.5. Okay, at what distance, if this is your bar, at what distance it is a circular, and it is going to bend like this only, but up to what it should be extend, this should be extend up to 8.5, and then it is going to be straight. Okay, this is what the anchorage, equivalent anchorage length 8.5. Similarly for the hook is nothing but like this. Okay, again, okay, see hook, see here, this is your bar. Okay, you are going to tilt it for some angle, and again it, up to what it should be extended here, for this it should be 4.5, and this should be equivalent to 16.5. Okay, for the U type hook, this is known as the different types of anchorage. Okay, there are two types of bent and हुक. ओके, एंड हुक में भी आपका यू टाइप हुक यूज किया जाता है. तो जो नेक्स्ट लेंथ, दिस इज 4.5 and this is your 16.5, and here in the bend it is 8.5. Okay, for the standard 90-degree bend. Okay, this is what we deal with the, what we call the bond and the anchorage value. Okay, now the third topic in your unit is torsion. Okay, torsion is the twisting of the, here if your bar is fixed at something. Okay, this is your surface and it is fixed at the something. If you are applying the force, okay, it is going to twist. Okay, it is going to twist by some value. Okay, what the flexure member, then the torsion is developed in the member. Okay, that is nothing but the torsion in RCC. Okay, where the torsion in RCC? Torsion generally occurs in combination with flexure or transverse shear. Where there is a presence of a flexural or the transfer shear, there will be your torsion is going to take. Okay, see, in slab we have seen the torsional reinforcement, yes or no? There, okay, in the slab, okay, in two-way slab we have provided with the torsion. Okay, there in mainly it is this torsion is mainly used in the RCC. Okay, torsion in RCC classified as there are two types of torsion. First is primary torsion or equilibrium. And second one is the secondary or the compatibility. Okay, here are the two types of RCC torsion. Okay, next, primary torsion. What do you mean by the primary torsion? Torsion induced in the RCC member by an eccentric load is known as the primary. Means what? If this is your member, okay, if this is your member and your load is not at center, it is eccentrically load, primary torsion is going to take place in RCC member. Example is what? Cantilever on this beam, then what kind of torsion it is going to induce? It is nothing but the primary. Okay, now second is beam curved in plane. Okay, see here, your beam is like this, which is curved in. Okay, okay, is in curved form, which is in curve. Okay, which is it in curve form. Okay, then see, again it is whatever the load is going to come, it is not come, it is going to come on the eccentric load. Then it beam curved in the plane, again it is going to be what the kind of torsion it is going to induce is primary. Inverted L beam. Okay, inverted LP. Okay, again here is the in wherever the load is coming, it is the eccentric load, then the primary torsion is induced. Now what do you mean by the secondary torsion? Secondary torsion is induced by application of an angle of twist such as rotation of the member, and resulting movement depends upon on the torsional stiffness of the member. See, torsion is induced by the application of an angle, means there will be some twist going to be take place. Okay, this is a member and it is going to twist by some angle, or it is going to rotate by some angle. Then whatever the resulting movement, it is mainly depend upon what the torsional stiffness of member. If the torsional stiffness of member is more, then whatever the twisting, it will be very less. But if the torsional stiffness of member is not good, then whatever the angle it is going to form, it will be the more, or it will be the whatever the twisting, it is going to be more. Okay, what kind of in which the this is your slab. Okay, here are the beam. Okay, here are the beam. Okay, and in somewhat this is the secondary beam between, and the span is less, and you are provided with the secondary beam. Here this kind of secondary torsion it is going to take, it is this going to twist. Okay, this is what the secondary torsion. Okay, next, what are the consideration for the torsion? Is design consideration for the torsion as per IS 456. Okay, here you have to go to clause number 41.2, page number 75. Okay, First, you have to calculate the critical section. Section located less than distance d from the face of the support may be calculated distance d, where d is equal to effective depth. Means what? Means what? Whatever the section which is located less than a distance d, that is nothing but the effective depth from the face of the support, then you have to design then it will be the critical section, and you have to design for the torsion. Okay, equivalent share for clause number 41.3.1, equivalent 41.3.1. Go to clause number 41.3.1. See here, equivalent share. Equivalent share, we shall be equivalent share, VE shall be calculated from the shall be calculated from the from the formula here. VE equal to V is the breadth of the beam. The equivalent shear stress tau VE in this case shall be calculated as given in the 40.1, except for the substituting VU by VE. The values of the tau VE shall not exceed the value of tau C max given in table number 20. See, this is what the equivalent shear. Okay, we are going to move to the R here. Here we are going to deal. Now here, see, this is the equivalent shear. Now equivalent nominal shear stress means tau V. Okay, but it is equivalent, therefore tau VE. The formula is same. See here, the formula is same. VU, instead of VU, we are going to deal with VE upon B upon D. See, for the shear stress, we have calculated the nominal stress. So nominal shear stress tau V is equal to VU upon BD. But here, for the torsion, the equivalent nominal